බොල්කොඩ වැවට මුහුණලා ඇති නිවාඩු නිකේතනයක සිරියෙන් පිරි බොල්කොඩ නිවස හත්පස නෙත් පඳින දසුන් සමග නූතනත්වයත් අඩක් නිම කළ පෙනුමකුත් එක්තැන් කළ අග්‍රගණ්‍ය නිර්මාණයකි. සැලසුම් ශිල්පී අංග කිහිපයක් එක්තැන් කරමින් මතු කරගත් මනානිමාවට විශේෂයෙන් සකසන ලද සැරසිලි සහ ගෘහභාණ්ඩද මුසු කරමින් මෙම අද්විතීය සම්පූර්ණ සැලසුම ගොඩනැගුවේ ගෘහ නිර්මාණ ශිල්පී ලලින් චිනසේනයි.
The vision for the Bolgada house was to create a home on this spectacular location, which is on an elevated land and it overlooks the Bolgada lake from two sides. There was a pre-existing house which was built in the 80s, and that was integrated as part of the back end of the house, and the whole front of the house was designed and built brand new. So the main ethos of the design was to create a home where you have beautiful living spaces, where you also have the view on the outside, and to sort of break the boundary between the inside and the indoors and the outdoors. So when you're in the living room of the house, you have a beautiful atmosphere created within the living room, and the view is a little bit further away. You then move gradually into the sunken seating on the deck, where you are sort of partially indoors and outdoors. You have the trees around you, and the view is even more closer. And then from there you progress on to the cantilevered seating area, where you are virtually floating in mid-air, and you are surrounded by nature. The view of the lake is right in front of you, and below you is the landscaped areas and the pool. So the unique aspects of the house is that most of it was built with board form concrete, the concrete walls and columns. So most of them have impressions of the wood ingrained into them, and this lasts forever. It creates a beautiful texture, and the color of the concrete creates this raw rustic look and feel. So when I was constructing this house, a lot of the techniques that I used here are not techniques that are used conventionally in construction. So for example, board form concrete is not something that's used everywhere, and contractors are not familiar with it. So I created a manual on how to make the formwork, how to join the formwork, so that concrete doesn't just run down the walls and stain it and make it ugly. How to mix the concrete, how to pour the concrete, and how to remove the formwork, so that if you notice, the concrete walls are in themselves a work of art. The other design features I would say are the circular drum windows, which act as portals to frame certain views. Another unique aspect is the yellow spiral staircase, which takes you up to the office room. So besides the main living spaces, the house has two study rooms. One of them is on the rooftop, and it's cantilevered about 20 feet off the roof over the pond. I think this is quite a unique architectural feat. There's also a boathouse at the bottom of the land, right on the lake, and this was an existing structure which I could not change, but I restyled it to fit in with the style of the house. The house has a lot of nature around it. It's surrounded by nature, but not just outside, on the inside as well. So I created a beautiful central pond within the house, and the master bedroom basically wraps itself around this central pond. Most of the walkways and the stairways, you will notice, are covered in foliage, which we allow them to grow naturally. We don't try to control nature. We allow nature to take its own course. And when you're down on the bottom and you see the top of the hill, you see that foliage has basically taken over most of the surrounding areas of the house. And this is exactly how I wanted it to be. So the interior aspects are part and parcel of the material that is used in the construction of the house, and this is very important that they're done together. Otherwise it always looks like an afterthought. So in terms of the interior, I designed some of the pieces of furniture, and this is something that I like to do because I like each building that I do to have its own unique pieces and items. The architectural design was keeping it very raw and very minimal. For the interior, I used a lot of pops of color, like the leather chairs, the mirrored lights, mirrored geometric shapes on the walls. So, in terms of construction and constructing a house, you don't have to build a huge house or use expensive materials to achieve a beautiful house. Means you don't have to spend a lot of money to achieve a beautiful house. What it does need is the designer to be very thorough about the details that he or she wants, and making sure that the contractor that you work with has a good understanding of what you need.